Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we're looking at the new version of the X-Force Deadpool from the Sasquatch wave of Marvel Legends. Now, this is basically the same figure I reviewed not that long ago from, what was it, HasCon? I guess that's what it was. Someone let me borrow theirs, and so I reviewed it. This is going to be a really quick review because we've seen this mold a ton of times. We've seen this Deadpool before, pretty much exactly the same as it is now. So there's not going to be a whole lot to talk about. It is actually one of the better Deadpool figures. And then, of course, there is the topic of the new Deadpool being the best Deadpool figure ever, which maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't know yet. But, you knew people were going to say that no matter what it was. So it's always interesting to see how that plays out. So let's go ahead and get this guy off the stand so that we can look at this one and then maybe compare the two. This guy stands just about 16.5 centimeters, which makes him pretty close to 6.5 inches, almost exactly. We've seen this mold about a zillion times. It's the Bucky Cap mold, as it's called now, and it is one of their better molds, if not the best mold that they've used in recent history. So again, it's a bummer that they use it so much, but overall it is good that they use it so much because it is the best one they've done. So let's go ahead and just jump into the accessories real quick. We do have the two katanas with the black and red handles. Not a very metallic looking katana. There's no paint for the sword part, or for the blade part. It's just molded plastic. We have the two blue weapons, one with the pistol with the orange front, and then this crazy looking rifle with the black paint. They're not painted particularly well. He can hold them well enough. He does only have the one trigger finger hand though, so that's a little bit of a bummer. You can really only do the one gun. You can heat this hand up technically and put the big gun in it, but that doesn't really count. The holsters on this guy are kind of removable. This leg one just slides off. Obviously, the back one can come off, but the belt is going to stay on. I don't know if you'd want to remove the belt anyway, but it's going to stay on there because it's all one piece. So, it's basic Deadpool. We do have the straps as separate pieces. They are loose pieces, so you can adjust them if they're not on the figure properly. I had to reorient the neck piece. And, it's fine. This guy does feature a decent amount of paint. All of the holsters and harnesses have a nice kind of wash marbling to them, which is very nice. We have a couple painted buckles across the chest, all the little buttons along the belt. The X logo is not painted very well, but it is painted, so that's good. And then, of course, more buckles and buttons around the pouches and thigh straps right here. So it's pretty good. Unfortunately, somehow they made the chest particularly glossy. I don't know how that happened, because that's not a common thing that we've seen with the molded plastics, but they seem to have done that, which is a little bit weird. The painted black on this guy is not particularly good, unfortunately. You can see right here on the arm as a good example, there's gray peeking through a lot, and then the line work is only mediocre at best. So it's not great. And then that's another example of that is over here by the eyes. You can see there's gray next to the red for the eyes on both sides of his head. So it's just kind of like they need to put a little bit more effort into it. Those aren't huge issues, and they're relatively common on Marvel Legends, unfortunately, but that's still not a good thing, so that's definitely a bit of a bummer. Alright, so as far as the articulation goes, it's really standard. The head's on a ball peg, which is on the hinge, so you can move it around pretty well. It sits really nicely on the body. It's amazing to me how properly they can do it sometimes, and then other times it's just not even close. I don't get that. The arms... This mold is really starting to feel maybe like it needs to get remolded because the arms don't feel like they have quite the right range. I don't know. The rotation works okay. The bicep swivel is okay. Double jointed elbows standard. Those kind of spots generally don't wear out as easily. The wrist swivel is really stiff on this guy for some reason, but it works. We have the hinge for the wrist. Ab crunch leans one notch back, one notch forward. Waist twist is fine. The belt is technically a floating belt, but it's on there really snug. But it's really not going to get in the way because it's below the waist swivel, so that's fine. You won't have any issues there. Hips go out a little bit, probably a little bit better than 45. And all the way forward, a little bit back. Thigh swivel's fine. Double jointed knees are fine. Shin swivel's fine. Doesn't quite line up perfectly, but it works. And then for the ankle, all the way back, really far forward, and you have your ankle rocker. The feet are still a little bit too small, but I don't know, guys. I would still argue that this is the best superhero build that we've gotten from them. Anatomically speaking, the proportions are really well done. He's got that right shape for the waist to chest ratio. The shoulders are big. I mean, it's easily the best mold that they've done all around. It's not perfect. There are definitely issues like the small feet or whatever, but easily the best mold. Let me grab the other Deadpool just so we can talk about that briefly, because I know there's a lot of Deadpool fans out there, and you guys may be considering kit bashing or something like that. So let me grab it real quick. So here we have the new Deadpool, which is getting all kinds of accolades, and some of those are definitely justified, and some of them are not so much. And I'm not going to do a whole review here. I just want to point out the one main thing that's the biggest difference on these two guys in terms of the overall appeal. Look at the shoulders on the gray one and look at the shoulders on the red one. The red one has a very small chest with kind of a weird overall anatomy area. That's not how I meant to word that, but you get the idea. The shoulder to chest area is just very strange. The proportions are very odd from the chest to the waist. And then this one has a much overall, again, not every detail, but overall a much better appeal. You can see here actually is a really good example. If you look at the shoulder, the ball for the shoulder right here, look at how much bigger it is on this guy as opposed to this guy. It's like maybe 50% bigger. That might be generous, but still, you get the idea. The proportions are just a little bit weird on most of their current molds, which is, it's just a little bit disappointing. Most of the parts are okay. Like you'll see the forearms are almost the same, if not the same. No, they're not the same, but they're really, really close. It's just a little bit of a different type of anatomy, which is not necessarily a good thing. I think they needed to find some kind of middle ground between this mold, and they would have been just aces, but they didn't have to destroy the chest and shoulders to get that butterfly joint. But that's enough of that. We'll review this guy in detail in his own review, but now you've got a little bit of a comparison between the two, so you can make your decision as to which body you like better, because we do have this one in red also. All right. So that'll do it, guys. I think that's probably enough information. You have seen this one before, and I still think it's probably the best release they've had in recent history for Deadpool. So there you go. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have new videos up every single day. We talk about action figures, movies, TV shows, video games, all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure you come back for that. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and in the meantime, keep collecting.